So in this presentation, we are going to define the primary term that I've kind of built this whole system around, which is extraordinary clients. We'll go through an exercise to help you identify your extraordinary clients, and then we'll use what we learned to put together a simple strategy. We're not in today's meeting going to create an extravagant one, but it'll be a simple one that you can kind of use as a starting off point to go forward. So first off, extraordinary clients. I started using this term a little bit recently, and I started exploring the use of it. I think it tells the story perfectly. What we're looking for in the exercise we're going to go through, and overall as a great kind of ally to business growth for you, is an extraordinary client. They're not your typical clients. These are the ones that are great for your business. They help you grow and learn. They're great to work with. You're successful together, making great projects, products, breakthroughs, whatever fits your business or whatever term you want to use. These are the clients that really make having your own business worthwhile. So this extraordinary clients term, for those of you who know me well, is the opposite of a grinder. But that's a story for another day. There's a link in the presentation, which I'll share out in the meeting chat and the live streams when I get a moment. If you want to check out the definition of a grinder yourself, I recommend you do that. So the long and short of why we're interested in extraordinary clients is there's a great opportunity to use their influence everywhere. It probably goes without saying, but once you find the clients that light you up and supercharge your business, you want their fingerprints on everything you do. You want more clients like that. So especially as a solopreneur, this is true because the work you do should make you happy and leave you being fulfilled for doing it. It's, you don't get into business for yourself to grind it out, right? Marketing, sales, business practices and policies, communication techniques, business growth strategies, all of it. Consider what's best and what's preferred by your extraordinary clients. All right, so extraordinary clients sound great, but how do you find them? You probably already have some. So let's do a quick exercise to uncover who they are. I am going to hop over to the blueprint at this point. It is now officially the blueprint version 2.1. I don't know, for those of you who have been around a little, 2.0 got a slight upgrade in honor of this presentation. So if you have the old doc, it's going to be similar. If you have the new doc, I sent out messages where you can download it, but I also popped it in the chat there, blueprint.vidwheel.com. Or for this exercise, probably works well to just use a blank sheet of paper, and you can reference the worksheet that I will have up on the screen. So here we go. So the first thing we'll do is we're going to go down to page 9 for reference purposes. Or you can use your blank sheet of paper. Page 9 is the extraordinary client worksheet. If you're looking at the blueprint, the few pages before this kind of talk through a lot of the same stuff that I'm going to go through here. But it is, yeah, we'll use this for reference on your blank sheet. This is an exercise. This is kind of a newer version of an exercise I've been doing for years. And I think it's an incredible way to bring some clarity to who these extraordinary clients are based on your past or current client roster. So the first thing we want to do is list out our current clients. For every business, the the best number of clients to kind of explore is a little bit different. But for this group, for the group who's in the meeting itself, we're going to do this brain dump style. I'll give you 2 minutes and write down your current and recent clients. You can see kind of like down the left side of your blank sheet, or if you printed this out or something, you fill it in there. Don't give a lot of thought to it about who's best or worst. Just go ahead and fill out as many clients as you can in this span of time. I'm going to get this fancy little timer going here, and we will go ahead and do that 2 minutes. And if anybody has any questions or anything, feel free to let me know. I didn't really think about how this won't be compelling live stream material, will it? To watch people work for 2 minutes, but I should have put together a dog and pony show. So you on the live stream, you've got even more reason to go ahead and do the same. You'll see the timer if you want to, grab a snack or something. All right. How's everybody doing there? We got about a minute remaining. I'll say too, just to kind of fill dead air, that this type of exercise I tend to do on like a quarterly basis to kind of track the different, kind of track the path forward. There is a lot of variance, and especially in smaller businesses, you can find that either you evolve a bit or your client base evolves or whatever, and it can kind of send you down some different paths. All right, last 5 seconds here. Okay, so I think, yeah, got it. All right, time's up on that. You can keep writing. I'm just going to keep yammering on. So let's see here. So we've listed our clients, and now time's up on that one. What we're going to do is we're going to move on to the first column that is set up here, and we're going to rate these clients based on time, as is written there. I'll ask you to rate on a scale from 0 to 3. And when we're talking about time, what we're really talking about is, do these clients respect your time? Do they expect things immediately or give you reasonable lead time? Do they disrupt your schedule of your projects with their projects, with their requests, or are they accommodating to you and your business? And the last one I always like to point at is, do they take a disproportionate amount of your time compared to either the scope of what you had planned to work with them or their value overall as a client? So I'm going to go ahead and hit another minute on the timer. Should be real quick, just top of mind. Don't overthink it. 0 being that they're terrible with your time, and 3 being that they are great to work with in terms of time. Okay. And any questions, feel free to just open up your mic. All 3s. Beautiful. Yeah. That's good stuff, Tom. 3s are good. 3s are good. But don't be nobody's going to see this, right? So don't try to make all threes if they're not really threes and stuff like that, right? The more honest you are, the better in these things. But I would believe, Tom, that you're all threes because a little more transactional than some of the other folks in here, insurance wise. All right, that's time up. All right, let's hop back to the next thing. We are going to start to look at the next column. And the next column is value. We're going to do the same thing on this column. You're going to rate your clients from 0 to 3 based on value. And some of the questions you can ask yourself to determine value are, does this client haggle on price? Do they pay on time? Are they profitable? Do they offer some other value like referrals or something of non-monetary value? Are they a great strategic partner? These are all things that can kind of factor into the value rating. 0 meaning there's very little value coming from this customer or client. And 3 being that this type of client is essential to growing your business. I'll pop another minute on there and just kind of roll on through. Let's see here. Yes. 3s, all 3s for Tom, 3s and 2s for Kim, 1-1. That's good. I mean, you should see some variation. 0s are bad, but everybody's had that client that, wants something 2 minutes after they call in a panic about it and so on. That client's a 0. You don't want those people. 3-2-2s, great. Awesome. All right, value-wise, another thing to take a look at. We've got about 10 seconds left on the value rating. And then we will move on. Okay, time's up on that one. Now we're going to move to the third column, which most of you all in here are solopreneurs. Tom, we can maybe talk through how you might want to look at this for project wise, but the rating here now is 0 to 3 based on project. And the way I usually do this is you look at how past projects have turned out. Did it work really well for the client? Did it work well for you? Success on both sides. Maybe what's more important for solopreneurs, was it work that you enjoy? If it's not work you enjoy, you don't want to go out and find more of it, right? It's all about kind of finding that best fit, the place that you're happy to be running your own business and creating things. The other thing to look at, was the process smooth? Now, this can sometimes fall on you as a business owner, but very often clients who are less likely to take direction or maybe want to do things out of order can be a little harder to work with on the project side. And so 0 to 3 being your best results project wise, and 0 being a failure of a project. We can go ahead and rate those clients. I rambled long enough that maybe we don't need it, but people are still looking down. So I'm going to give it 1 minute on the clock. Tom's got a lot of 3s. You're going to end up with all kinds of good clients. Extraordinary clients, even. All right. Okay, as this timer winds down, now's your warning that we're going to do a little math. So if you are not a fan of math, I'm happy to help you out with it, or you can get your phone calculator going or whatever. But once we We finish up here. Okay, time's up on that one. So, as you might suspect, we're going to take those 3 ratings and we're going to multiply them together, which means if you have a client that's all 3s, that's a 27. That is a great client. And if you have a client with a 0 in any of these categories, that's a 0, which is really one of the keys to this exercise. The 0. We multiply because 0 times anything makes 0. And if you have that client, the pay is great, but they have you on call 24 hours a day and disrupt your business, you can't have more of them. Say at the same time, if you have a client that's respectful of your time and offers great value, but the projects never turn out or you hate doing them, then you probably don't want more of them either. So that 0 is important. And that's not saying that you can't continue to work with these clients, right? You might be able to keep them on as a client, but it's probably not the client that you want to build your business around and try to kind of build a strategy around. You want to build your strategy around the clients that score high in all of these categories. So anybody with a 0, go ahead and cross them off. You don't want to seek out more clients like that. And then 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. If you got 27s, that's wonderful. That is an extraordinary client. Those are the clients you want to focus on. Very often when people do this exercise, though, they might not have any 23s. If you have 18s or 12s, which 3 times 3 times 2 is going to be 18, or all 2s is going to be 12. That's okay too. Those are the highest rated folks from this exercise are going to put you on the right path. They're going to send you in the right direction. So take the highest rated clients that you have and circle those clients. You can make sure you have a good kind of sample there, whether it's 3, 5, something like that. That is what you want to do. And after you've circled those clients, what we're going to do is kind of work on discovering the characteristics of these extraordinary clients. So what are some of the commonalities of these circled clients? You can go to the easy stuff like demographics, age, gender, location, education. That kind of stuff is a good place to start, but we want to go deeper than that. Don't be afraid to dig, right? If your clients love golf or to make candles on the weekend or to quote 80s movies or whatever it is, this is something that can be truly important to speaking to your clients going forward. And creating strategies around everything from how you deal with them in training to how you acquire them through marketing or sales. So don't be afraid to get a little bit weird here. Dig deep. Think about the conversations you've had with these clients and where you can make some maybe more obscure connections. Also consider, where did I first meet this client? What circumstances led us to work together? What problems did they have that I solved? And then try to find some common threads there. I'm also going to put up a couple other questions that are on the bottom of this worksheet that can be helpful in these next steps. So I'm going to give us one last timer. It's going to be 2 minutes to kind of look for connections. Feel free to ask any questions. And if not, just kind of hack away at it, see what you can do, how they relate, whether it be, by project or, acquisition, anything like that. Start to look into that. Let's see if we got anything on chat here. Anybody have any questions? Feel free to pop them in chat. Okay, cool. So just to fill the void while we work through this timer, some of the things to consider. how can you engage these people? What are they into? Where do they hang out? And we're going to get into that in the strategy portion here. How can you reach people like this? How can you reach somebody who is very similar to some of these extraordinary clients you have? What are the most common problems they have? And what makes them take action? That's a big one too, especially in the marketing and sales strategy side of things. So. And I can pop back over here as we wind down. I'll let you all have the full 2 minutes. You're not going to be able to dig as deep as you probably would be beneficial in a short time like that, but come back to it later and see if there anything else kind of comes out of your time away, which often works. Okay, so with that, I'm going to try and get myself all situated again here. With that, we're going to move on to building our strategy, which it's going to be simple. It's going to be rough given our time span here, but we'll build out like a real simple strategy right now. If you think that focusing on these handful of clients is kind of too narrow a focus for a marketing campaign or something like that, I would challenge that, and I'd say these are the people you're trying to build your business around. So give it a shot. You usually only need to have a handful of clients if you're a solopreneur to kind of reach that next level. So don't be fooled into thinking you have to talk to everyone. Pair away at it and talk to these extraordinary clients. So, all right. Like I said, we're going to create a pretty loose strategy here. If you want to dig deeper, we actually have a 1-page video strategy sheet on that same blueprint. It's on page 25 of the blueprint, and you can get some of the stuff leading up to it, some of the instructional stuff between page 16 and 25. But for the quick version here, what we're going to do is first we're going to think about, what are you doing? We're talking about campaigns. If you want to stick with the video strategy campaign, is the kind of basis for this month on the VCN and what we talked about in the title of this presentation, then you can do that. But you could also do the same for a sales campaign, marketing. The main thing is, what are you trying to develop as a strategy? So as an example, I'll just go ahead and say that we're doing a video marketing campaign to our extraordinary clients. Next, you want to consider your extraordinary client. Where do they hang out? Are they on a Twitch stream or on LinkedIn? When are they hanging out there? Is it the middle of the night or in, bright and early in the morning? Is it every day? Is it once a month? And what do they want to hear about? So the latest news or the newest business book, do they want to be, get educational content where they learn how to do things? Dig as deep as you can with your extraordinary clients to learn how to kind of best engage with people who are most like them. If we want to go with an example where we're doing the video strategy to reach extraordinary clients, presentations like this for my own business are a big thing. I like to engage with people, and my best clients are people who like to learn. They like to do the things. They like to explore their own business. And so something like this is a great fit. Another thing to consider when you're starting to put together that campaign is, what do you have that could already be useful? Maybe you have a downloadable PDF like the blueprint. Maybe you have 30 episodes of a video podcast, or maybe you have 100 self-shot dance videos. Like, how could these assets that you already have be useful in speaking to your extraordinary clients. And as things start to come together with your strategy, it's also crucial to consider what can you create. And it's probably better to look at it through the lens of what you can afford to create as a solopreneur. Either by if you're like, well, this would be great, but I need this video piece to kind of round out all my content. Can you afford to hire somebody for it, or can you afford to invest the time to create that content? And then as you kind of work through all that, you know what you're trying to do, you know who you're talking to and where you're going to talk to them and what they might want to hear about. You've inventoried your own kind of stuff. Goals. You got to set up some goals at the end of the strategy. How will you know it was a success? And that's kind of what goes back to what I brought up in our breakout rooms, where, is your campaign successful, and how do you know? The only way you can truly know is if you have set up some metrics that are being hit. So I suggest SMART goals. I think everybody knows what those are in business these days, but specific, measurable, actionable, or achievable, relevant, and timely. If you want more context on that, again, the blueprint has that in there. So in the last note here, the last line is probably the most important when it comes to creating any strategies tied to your small business, which is WWECD. What would my extraordinary client do? If you are ever stuck making a decision at any point in your strategy or process, look at that decision through the lens of your extraordinary client. For instance, would they find a GIF of a cat furiously typing away on a computer funny? Will it help achieve some goal? And if the answer is no, then don't do it. By answering the few questions that we kind of put up here, you'll end up with a purpose. You'll know where to engage your target audience. You'll know the type of content you should use, and you've taken an inventory of what you have on hand and what you might have to create to execute this strategy. And you've set up some goals to know if it's working. So I'll leave it to you to kind of sand down the rough edges and fill in the details. But that is the simple strategy that you can pull now that you know who your extraordinary client is. And always remember, that's who you're doing all this for. So what we did in this campaign is we defined the extraordinary client and why they're good for your business. We went through an exercise to help identify your extraordinary clients, and we put together a really simple strategy.